Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my April 2019 horoscope report for you, where I will give you the need-to-knows for your sign, as well as talk extensively about the general transit energies, the conflicts between them, where they're rolling together, and how you can best use this knowledge of the energies to have the most graceful, productive month possible. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where you can check out my blog. Among other things, I have every month things about the new moon, the full moon, and how best to use those wonderful energies, and lots of other things there. If you'd like to book a live reading or sign up for my astrology apprenticeship program, you can also do that at anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely check out my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days, which is an Amazon bestseller. So what's going on this month for you? I'm going to show you the charts that I used to figure out the information that's most important for you. I'll show you in detail for the early, middle, and late degree placements, what you can expect for this month, important themes, and best ways to use the energy. Then we'll transition back to talk about the general transits, and I'll give you the dates to note and all kinds of other things you need to know for this month. Hello, Gemini friends. Okay, so we're starting out the month with Mars moving into your sign. This is very important. This happens every couple of years or so, 2 years and a few months. I'm calling the theme of this month dizzying busyness and opportunities everywhere for Geminis. Okay, so wherever Mars moves, it brings action, activity, oomph, gusto. And when it's in the sign of Gemini, it brings options, and it brings busyness, and it brings lots of thinking, lots of talking, lots of doing, which Geminis are known for already. And when Mars goes there, it's like an extra oomph. It's a restlessness. So expect a lot of restlessness this month for sure. Over the coming weeks, Mars is going to cross over all of the Gemini placements. So sometime this month or next month, you're going to have Mars cross over your Gemini placement, whether it's your sun or moon or rising. And when that happens, it's like a call to action. Sometimes it's a point of conflict, and also guard your body and guard your health, because sometimes it's, you know, an overuse or an overdoing from the excess, but often it's a call to action. One of the themes this month is that there are a lot of calls to action, and I'll talk about this more in the general transits. I'll talk more about this now as well. With the Aries placements moving along, making sweet aspects to your placement, it's only going to add fuel to your air, you know, and it's going to spark a lot of action. But we really want you to be certain before you do anything, okay? Because there will be lots of opportunities, and there will be lots of busyness. So we've got all of that going on. We still have quite a theme of water, which in general doesn't blend as well with the Gemini energies, but it's a sweet thing. It's an internal thing. For those of you who are working on some internal projects or working on some emotional or creative work, there's still a lot of good support there, but it's happening at the same time as all of these other energies lighting up. So it's like this need for quiet and internal and working on your projects, but then there's like this busting out and busyness and things to do and all of that, lots of activity. So there's a lot of energy gathering in the 11th house. This has to do with your tribe, your group, and your teams, large organizations, humanitarian efforts, and your friends, your friendships. So you might find that there's a focus on those areas, a draw to return to or spend more time with your tribe or connect with them, or find your tribe for that matter. And it puts a focus on it. So when we have the spotlight of the sun as a focus, it like shows us the things that are great and puts it right in our faces to deal with, but it also shows us things that are not right. So if there's something that has to be made right with a friend or within these friendships or groups, then you'll have more information to do that. Okay, so you might just notice that there's friendships or things coming up in the groups or with your tribe, or things that have to be adjusted, or things that need attention. There is also a lot of energy in the 10th house of work and career. So you might find yourself very much thinking about your work. What am I supposed to do? Trying to do some new things, trying to get some old things going. Just lots of focus in the arena of the 10th house. So we've got Jupiter continuing to accentuate excuse me, the 7th house. And for you later degree placements, so those of you who are like towards the latter part, like that, the last 10 days of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees, you're just recently joining on the train of having Jupiter accentuating the 7th house. It's been in the 6th house for you for a while. Jupiter expanding relationships brings relationships more into the forefront, can bring more win-win situations, and can also bring in key people to get you to where you want to be. And you can also serve as that key person to get others to where they need to be. So it's really amazing for client base, or people finding you, or your work expanding. So you finding the people that you need, key contacts, people to help you in any area of life, and other people finding you. That's really well accentuated. Now with Jupiter going into retrograde, there might be some change in the momentum there as it works more on the inner planes, because when Jupiter has an expansion spree, especially in its exaggerated version of itself, Jupiter being in the sign of Sag as it's been since November, there's just more and more and more and more and more, and then when it goes into retrograde, it sort of tries to streamline and can bring things back from the past. So ideas you had from the past, things you've been planning from the past, contacts from the past, and possibly even just a reining in of ambitions, and just kind of like a relaxing and enjoying the things that you've created already. So we have a lot of that going on. Okay, so something else to note is that for you middle and late degree placements where Mars hasn't yet moved into the 1st house, there could be kind of rambunctiousness in your mental space. So more than usual. I know the Gemini energy, you've got rambunctiousness in your mental space as a general habit, as a way of being. But when Mars is there, it can be a little bit chaotic, it can be a little bit stressful, it can be a little bit depressing, it can make you feel off. So you might need to purge your mental space in some way, take some fish oil. I'm not a doctor, you need to check for yourself, but the omegas can really support your mental space, and you might need that support because of all the extra chatter there. And even your early degree placements where Mars is going to be leaving that space, it's been there and now it's leaving, because of the dizziness of this month, whatever you all can do to concentrate more and stay on track and stay grounded is going to definitely be a theme of the time. Okay, so I'm going to drop in the early, middle, and late degree charts just to look at for a minute or two, just to show you the visuals of the things that I discussed. And then you'll see me back on the screen to talk more about the general transits, the conflicts there, some certain dates to note, and other things that you definitely need to be aware of. Okay, so let's look at the charts for a minute now. Okay, so here's the visuals on what I was talking about before, that rambunctiousness with Mars moving through the 12th, we can see in the late degree chart. You've still got a little while of that. A little bit less time for the middle degree placements. It's getting closer to this rebirth, this new kind of bringing action out from the mental journey. And then you can see for the early degree placements that it is starting from the beginning of the month, leaving that space. But you all could use grounding and whatever you can do. Having Mars be in Gemini is definitely going to be something that you want to focus on grounding about. All right, so I talked about your tribe, friendships, acquaintances, networking being lit up. You can see the sun there for early. See the middle, and then you see it's for late. It's taken a little bit longer to get in there, but it will be in hand. It will be there as well. It's just staggered a bit. Okay, and then we talked about the very full 10th house. So you can see early, full 10th house, middle, full 10th house, late, full 10th house. That's your work, career, things with dads, authority figures, things like that. And then we talked about Jupiter, which has been accentuating the house of relationships. It looks like it's getting ready to move on here in the early degree, but it's going to go retrograde, so it's not. It's still just going to be in the 7th house for early. It's going to be in the 7th house for middle. And for you late degree placements, it's recently started influencing the 7th house. That is what I was talking about with all of the expansion with your relationships, people finding you and you finding others. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the video with me, and I'm going to talk about the general transits and things you definitely need to be aware of and certain dates to watch. So let's go into that now. So the theme for April 2019 for the general transits is the urge for action, but ... And I will explain in detail as to why I'm calling it that. So the astrological new year begins at the end of March each year, and at that time, the sun moves into Aries, which is the astrological new year. Shortly after, or sometimes coinciding with, in this case, shortly after the sun moves into Aries, other personal planets, meaning the ones that are closest to us, start moving into Aries. So the sun will start out the month in Aries. Midway into the month, we'll have Mercury, then Venus is going to follow shortly after in Aries. So all of this action energy will make you want to do something. So adding to the drive for action, Mars is going to be in Gemini. Mars is how we use our energy, and Gemini is all over the place. And it's always really busy. It's thinking, it's talking, it's doing, and it's restless. So we've got Aries energy, which is among the most restless in the zodiac. We've got Gemini energy, which is among the most restless in the zodiac, combining together, and people are going to want to talk and move around and go places and do things. Plus, we will have just gotten out of a watery, Mercury retrograde covered month of March, and people are going to be ready for some action. So this energy all combined can be great for getting things done, but there is a hurriedness about it. And a recklessness, and sometimes not paying attention. So it increases the chances for accidents or doing something, slip-ups in ways that aren't positive. So you definitely want to be more careful, pay more attention, add some breath, add some consciousness to all of this oomph energy, because you really need to take more caution. This month carries some awkwardness in the way that, although we have all this fire energy and then the important air energy in the Gemini, there will be all of this like pent-up energy to do things, but because there's still energy in Pisces that's transitioning over, this water energy, specifically in Pisces, can bring more of an abstractness, like an uncertainty, an inner focus, and just really not feeling sure. So when you have the combination of like you need to do something, but you don't know exactly what to do, then that can cause a lot of wasted energy, just putting a whole bunch of energy into something and then a couple of weeks later realizing, as the Mercury retrograde post-shadow transit energies shift mid-month, that actually the direction is completely different. So you're going to be chomping at the bit at the beginning of April and say, oh, Mercury is direct, time to do stuff. But I really want you to hear that in that first couple of weeks, try to find your certainty before you take action and commit. Mid-month is much better for committing, it's much better for certainty, it's much better for clarity. So the more that you can be sure about what you're doing instead of doing for the sake of itself, the better. And the more you can tune into the inspired action rather than action just for the sake of itself. So like tuning into what spirit wants you to do rather than you just being so whacked out that you have to do something. So, going to the gym, exercising, doing things that can get this energy out. But of course, be careful when you're doing those things as well, that it's not too aggressive and you don't hurt yourself. So definitely watch the signs and the synchronicities closely, because those will be the things that can help match you with the best path. The other thing that's going on this month is that Jupiter is moving into retrograde, and it's going to be there for months, okay? And when this happens, the expansion frenzy that was occurring before then starts to stop, basically. And sensitive people may have felt this even earlier, because there is a pre-retrograde transit shadow transit before Jupiter goes retrograde as well. So if you're finding that even in the open window of February, the end of January and February, if you were starting to slow down, your ambitions were starting to slow down, that could have been Jupiter getting ready to go into retrograde. And so during this time, having kind of a break from the long unbridled expansion spree can be of benefit, because you can take stock and evaluate. So pulling in carefully to evaluate the next steps is a really good move. It doesn't mean you can't do anything or shouldn't do anything. It just means if you naturally are losing your ambitions, then don't be concerned when Jupiter, it will come back, basically. Definitely economy of energy utilization is called for now. That's one of the things that Jupiter, especially in Sag, really wants when it goes into retrograde, is how you are spreading yourself thin and how you can condense your efforts so that you can be much more productive. So basically, fewer brilliantly placed actions that are supported by inner certainty are much better this month than just crazy haphazard action for the sake of itself. I really love this time for spring or down under fall cleaning, and I definitely love Marie Kondo's message to release anything that doesn't spark joy. This way you have surroundings and everything in your life with things only that spark joy. She's got 2 amazing books that I highly recommend, and this is an amazing time for taking action on things like that. Definitely vision boards are well supported at this time. So the new year, the astrological new year started at the end of March 20th, when the sun moved into Aries. But the New Year's kickoff party is when the new moon in Aries happens, which is on April 5th. So that's one of the best days of the whole year for a vision board, and the days around there and this time, it's really great for putting things together to help you figure out what you want to create this year. It's a really wonderful time for planting seeds. Something interesting about this month is that most of the days that have sweet aspects are completely coupled with days that have challenging aspects. So there's not as much of an easy time to say, this time is good, this time is challenging. You know, we've got a few days right in the beginning of the month where there's a series of sweet aspects, but then pretty much for the rest of the month, there's just like dicey, sweet, dicey, sweet, dicey, sweet. So just really tune in to how your personal flow is with these transits. That full moon on April 19th is definitely going to be very intense. It's a full moon at 29 degrees of Libra, so like culmination of relationship things. So definitely look out for surprises then. There are some sweet aspects that go along with that full moon, and there's also some dicey ones that go along with that full moon, but definitely very intense. So if you want a detailed list of the dates of each of the aspects and what goes along with those, you can sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. When you sign up for my free email newsletter, you also get access to my 28-day virtual coaching program, which is free when you sign up. So you can just go deep in with that, and then plus you'll get this written report in your inbox delivered a month early so that you can have a visual understanding of what's coming. AnnieHelpsYou.com, you can book a live reading with me. You can check out my astrology apprenticeship program if you resonate with how I do astrology and you'd love to learn with me. I also have some other wonderful vocational support courses that you can take, as well as subliminals to help train your mind to create the life you want. I've got all kinds of other goodies on my site. If you'd like written reports, astrology reports, horoscopes from me, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com for monthly written horoscopes that often have different information than is in my videos. And there are other blogs there as well too, natural lifestyle blogs. So definitely check those things out, and you can check out my husband's website, iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. He always has very interesting goodies there, and he does tarot and astrology as well. So I would love for you to check out my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days. This is an Amazon bestseller, and it is wonderful for anyone who really wants to shift their experience in life in a very simple but powerful way with this beautiful little book. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.